If you think being bullied by EpicNNG is crazy, wait until you see the cyberbullying charade we got going on today, gamers, because Randy Pitchford is having a generational meltdown. This man is crashing out on Twitter, and typically I wouldn't talk about this, not because I'm Mega Shill 101, but because it's just not worth my time. But the Borderlands movie obviously is doing horrible. It is probably the worst rated movie from audiences and critics within the last 5 to 10 years. That is not an exaggeration, and while I actually did enjoy the movie, I can also acknowledge that the movie is bad. You can enjoy bad things, and I enjoyed the Borderlands movie. The rest of the internet did not, and it is getting slammed. It has completely bombed, and most people are taking this on the chin. They are accepting that this was always going to happen, except for one person. Randy Pitchford has been on an absolute tear, responding to every single person who has had something remotely negative about the Borderlands movie to say on Twitter, basically challenging their opinion, asking if they actually watched the movie, and boy, let me tell you, it's not going down too well. My favorite one here is where this guy says, Randy, put the fent down and lock in, and Randy says, what's fent? But all jokes aside, Randy is being very defensive about this. And I want to say before we go any further, I do have empathy for Randy. Randy, if you are watching, I do have legitimate empathy for you. It is clear that regardless of what the internet thinks about this movie, it means a lot to you. And I'm sure, despite what people are going to say, even in the comments of this video, you did put a lot of yourself and your time and effort into making the movie. Unfortunately, this is the internet, and people don't care about that. So why am I bringing all of this up? Well, I mentioned in my review of the movie that I had been blocked by Randy Pitchford on Twitter just recently after I posted a tweet where I basically questioned the direction of the movie, asking why the vault was just randomly placed in the middle of a canyon. As soon as I made this tweet, I noticed that Randy blocked me, and I didn't really understand why. I have been the one person on Twitter who has actually been defending the Borderlands movie. I've been called a shill over the past 2 weeks more than I have in the past 2 years, and I get it. I mean, I have legitimately been defending this movie, even going as far as saying that, again, I enjoyed it. But Randy blocked me for my tweets, and I was not losing sleep over it, and I still am not losing sleep over it. But I'm making this video because something even crazier happened. So today, while I was out buying legitimately every copy of Borderlands 2 from the local GameStop, I came across a tweet from Badassery where Badassery had also been blocked by Randy Pitchford, seemingly for his coverage of the Borderlands movie, where he has just been essentially trashing it. Now, regardless of whether or not you think it's fair for Randy to block him, or whether or not it's fair for Paul to cover the movie the way he has, it is clear that Randy did not take kindly to the way that Paul had been talking about it, and as such, he blocked him. Now, this wasn't too crazy to me, sorry Paul, but blood, you'll get over it, because I just thought this was like another journalist getting blocked. I was like, you know what, probably not a good idea to block Paul Tassi, pretty influential guy, and also in the grand scheme of things, his coverage of your movie isn't the end of the world. But then I saw something that knocked my socks off and sucked my cock off. This blew me away. Randy Pitchford blocked Killer6 on Twitter, who has also been defending the movie. Now, boys, I would love to tell you exactly what got K6 blocked, what was the trigger moment, the final straw for Randy to block him. I have no idea. Maybe he called the movie mid at some point, but like, this is crazy for many reasons. First of all, it's K6. If you don't know who K6 is in the Borderlands community, you've probably been living under a rock. He is the second biggest creator of all time within this community and has been covering the game since Borderlands 2. He has been invited to reveal events and shook hands with Randy Pitchford, taken pictures with Randy Pitchford. For God's sakes, Randy Pitchford shouted him out on stage during the Borderlands 3 reveal. On top of that, he just recently got to meet Randy Pitchford again at the Borderlands movie premiere he was literally invited to. So Randy Pitchford blocking him is wild. Quite literally, literally wild. We have gone off the charts here. We're not smoking crack anymore. We're sniffing, chewing, and swallowing. It is such a worrying reality, and I just quickly want to touch on this in particular. I believe that Randy Pitchford almost was the sole reason Borderlands 3 had one of the worst launches, period, when it launched back in 2019, due to the whole events of what went down on Twitter beforehand. Now, seeing all of this happening and knowing how close we are to Borderlands 4, all I can think is that history is repeating itself, because he has quite literally now blocked two of the people who have been responsible for carrying the Borderlands name on YouTube for the past couple of years, while the games have had pretty much nothing going for them. Just do a quick little accolade breakdown here. When Borderlands 3 was in absolute shambles because they didn't listen to the community, K6 was the one who got a bunch of features implemented into the game, saving it from the rest of the community abandoning it. When Tiny Tina's Wonderlands completely broke down because it had nothing going for it past the first playthrough, it was myself and my team who created one of the most popular Borderlands mods of all time. And these are the people that Randy is blocking on Twitter for simply talking about the movie. Like, in regards to the grand scheme of coverage this movie has had, the comments made by myself and K6 are nothing. Now, I will say, again, to block Portassi over the stuff he posted is perfectly fair. Whether you like it or not, it is up to Randy at that point. Portassi has been negative about the movie, and I do just want to say, for the record, this isn't me coming up Portassi. He is well within his right to do that, because this movie is getting fucking trashed by everybody right now. So he's hardly in the minority of people going at the Borderlands movie right now. But nonetheless, Randy took offense to this and blocked Portassi too, which again is still just crazy. This is journalism. You made a movie to be consumed by journalists and not yes men. And if this is the kind of thing you're trying to facilitate online, I truly worry for what is going on at your studio and the people that you have on your left and right. What's even crazier is that not long before these blocks took place, Randy Pitchford quite literally quote tweeted Gas Mask and said, "Is this a sentiment anyone else shares? Should the movie have just done a one-to-one retelling of the Borderlands 1 story? This platform lets someone like me hear from someone like you, which is cool. Thanks in advance for your helpful and constructive feedback." And then goes on to block people who are just talking about the movie and providing that feedback. It is so sad. It is so pathetic. This man is turning into the Elon Musk of the Borderlands community beyond our very eyes, and it is just so sad to see. Like, this isn't me trying to take pot shots at Randy and try to make him feel lesser about himself. I know that a lot of people are trying to do that right now, and that's perfectly fine. But my point of view on this is that this is very bad for PR. To block people in your community who have been trying their best to do everything to keep your community afloat in a time where this is going viral now. The hate for the Borderlands movie is going viral, and now something like this is probably just going to get worse. For you to go out and then block these people is just unbelievable, and it really makes me wonder how approachable you're going to seem to people now in the future because of it. And it's also a question about morals too, right? And also your values. Like, do you actually value people's feedback if you're just going to block them right after? Do you actually want to see any changes made to the franchise or the movie that just came out when you're reacting to people's feedback like this? I understand that there are trolls on the internet, but I'm not going to pretend like that is all of the people he's blocking. There has definitely been some stray shots, and it's one of these situations which just makes me smack my head and go, what are we doing? The best possible scenario for this, in my opinion, is for Randy Pitchford to walk away from Twitter for a while and then just come back and zip it. Just stay quiet, because at this point with Borderlands 4 around the corner, the last thing we need is for him to tank the reputation of the game before it comes out, and then it potentially leading to layoffs like what happened with Bungie recently. The last thing I want is a carbon copy Pete Parsons running his mouth before laying off 200 employees because the game isn't selling well. I know that might seem hyperbole, but with the virality of the movie coverage right now, it would not surprise me if something like this happens. But that's it. I just wanted to rant about that. I typically wouldn't make videos about this kind of thing, but it's just become so stupid. It's like playground level stuff at this point, and it doesn't need to be. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, and I'll check you in the next one.